Now we're live.
Oh, Ashley, you do the first pour to go.
I thought we were going to wait for people to get on. Alright, we're just going to wait a few minutes for a few people to get on, and then we're going to get started. Hi, Brittany.
Hi. We have 12 people.
11, 12.
We have 17 people, Ashley.
Alright, so today we're going to be showing you guys how to do alcohol ink wood grains. And we're going to be showing you 3 different ways. I'm just trying to blame this thing.
Should I go it first a little bit out of your way, Ashley?
Alright, prop this in front of me. Hello, Beatrice. Okay. Oh, which tumbler should I use?
Just use the white one.
Alright, so first thing first, I'm going to put on a pair of gloves because this definitely gets messy. Alright.
Ashley, how you got on the regular computer on in the group?
Oh, it's right here, Mom. It's literally right here.
Oh, then give it to me so that I can read.
Alright. Should I take these off? So, I have just a white prep tumbler. This is just an alcohol ink smudge. Just ignore that. You won't even see that later on. But it's just, these are Dollar Tree cups. They're just Dollar Tree glass cups that we spray paint white. And you can see on the inside, we've used this many times for alcohol inks. We just, we clean it off with alcohol and then do another coat of spray paint. And it's good just to do it the tutorial. Because we've done so many of these tutorials. We just like to use the cheap cups instead of using a whole tumbler every single time. Oh, Laura said she took off her glasses. She won't be able to see. Alright. So, and the spray paint. This is a flat spray paint, preferably anything but gloss. It doesn't work as well. These techniques don't work as well on gloss tumblers, so this is a flat spray paint. And we need these 1-inch chip brushes. It's got like bristle. It's got like a bristly top. You can get them on Amazon, Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's. Oh wait, let me check my phone real quick. Oh, okay. Yeah, they're pretty easy to come by. They're just, make sure that they have like these bristles. Like it's kind of like what's the word?
Rough, natural.
Yeah, like natural bristles are kind of rough. All right. So what color do you want me to do?
Do brown. You know what we don't have? The medicine cups.
Oh yeah. All right. So I have 2 browns here. No, I'm gonna use walnut. This is our color. Oh, what kind of colors do you guys want to see? We had 3 already put out, but one's gonna be blue. I kind of want to do a brown, at least 1 brown. So I have the color walnut here. Typically I like either brick brown or mahogany for woodgrain tumblers. Let me see one of those.
Make another brick brown one.
Yeah, it looks good on.
Was that what
Woodgrain
people
tumblers.
requested?
And then I said I wanted to do a brown, and you said you wanted to do blue, so they get to choose whatever other color.
Oops, I almost fell backwards.
All right.
Laura, the baseball bats are pretty easy to do. The ones with the glitter on top, or just a full Pilsner tumbler.
So I have the color brick brown, or actually, yeah, number 94, brick brown. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's going to be backwards, but number 94. This is what I typically use when I want to do like a medium to dark wood grain for when I sell cups in my Etsy store. All right, so I just want to stick my hand in the cup, and then this is how I kind of use it. So some people, when they do this method, they drip directly onto the cup like this, and then they start to brush it out. Personally, I don't like to do that because what can happen is this, where if you do it sideways, it'll go through what you already did. So personally, what I like to do is I have little medicine cups. So I have like a little medicine cup right here, and I'm just gonna pour. I need to put my camera down. And I'm just gonna pour my ink directly into the little medicine cup, and then I'm gonna dip my brush into the ink.
Can you make the camera a little bit up again?
A little, like how far?
A little bit further down. I think that's a good medium.
Okay. As you can see, I laid something down because this is very messy. This is why we have a paper towel on our desk. Alright, so basically all I'm going to do right now is just coat the entire tumbler. I'm just doing up and down strokes and just coating the whole thing. And I'm going to keep brushing. I'm not going to stop brushing until I know that the alcohol ink is completely dry. Oh, can you guys see that? I think I was a little bit too high. Yep, so I'm just going to keep brushing until I see that the alcohol ink is dry. And then I'm going to rotate it, dip my brush again, and keep going. And I'm just coating the entire tumbler. That's the first step, is to just get ink all over the tumbler first. I don't want any more white spots. Are there any questions? Mom?
No, somebody just said it's a great tip, said you put it in a medicine cup, the ink. That was Laura.
I think another good thing, as you can, I don't know if you guys can see that, but there is some alcohol ink on my table. So putting a trash bag or some kind of tarp is, I say it's a really good idea because you probably don't want to stain your surface, whatever you're going over.
Your bottom.
I know. And then I'm just going to coat the bottom. Oh, can you guys see that? Just going to coat the bottom. And then for the bottom, I'm just going one direction. Just brush in one direction until it's completely dry.
Can you move it down a little bit? We cannot see you anymore. Okay, better.
Alright, and I'm going to check my entire tumbler and see if the whole thing is coated. And it is. Alright, I'm going to refill my ink. Alright, the next step is I'm going to load up my brush. And if I think I have too much ink, Mom, do you have paper towels? I need to wipe my ink off onto a paper towel, usually like this, but I don't have a paper towel yet. Yeah, just wipe it onto a little paper towel, and instead of going in both directions, I'm going to brush in just one direction.
You have to okay, now it's just delayed here.
And basically what I'm trying to create is a V. It's not always going to be perfect because your bristles, but the general shape of a long wood grain kind of shape, I call it a V. And if you don't like the way it's looking, you can always just coat over it. Just get some ink and just go over it. And I want to keep brushing in the same direction. So before I was going up and down, now I'm just doing quick downward strokes. Just quick downward strokes. And keep brushing until it's completely dry. I think that's the most important thing, is to keep brushing until it's dry. Alright, and now you can see this sort of V shape. I'm going to go in with some more ink, and now I'm going to do a slightly smaller V. And if I need to use the side of the brush instead of the 1-inch side, I tilt it to the side, I do that too. It gives me a little bit more control. I need to make it a little bit longer. And if you see that you use too much ink, like I think that was a little bit too much ink, let it sit and evaporate for a second, dry off your brush, and then go in again. Yep, so I want it to stop there. I don't want it to go any further. I'm going to sit and let it evaporate for a second. Drag it up a little bit. And then go over it again. So you see how it like stopped there? That's what I wanted. And now just brush over it until it's completely dry. So now you can see I have a V here and a V inside. And I'm just going to keep doing that. Inside. Put more V's on the inside until I like how that section looks.
Tanya, we don't, with technique number 1, we do not seal our inks. We let it sit and cure for 24 hours, and then we go directly with alcohol, with epoxy over it. But one sealer, which one I use, for technique number 2, you can sometimes, it depends how bright you want to have it, you seal, and that is Mod Podge clear sealer. That's our preferred sealer. But in general, for technique number 1, we just let our inks cure and go directly with epoxy over it, and we don't seal it.
Alright, so now that I like how that section looks, I have the small V going out to a large V. I'm going to tilt my tumbler and do another one about a third away from where I did this first one on this specific tumbler. If you have a larger tumbler, you can do more, or if you have a smaller tumbler, you can do less. It's completely up to you, but this is just for my tumbler. I'm going to go about a third of the way around the cup and do another V. Oops, I just moved my camera. And I'm just basically doing the exact same steps over and over until I like how it comes out. Is there anybody who's doing this with us right now, who's actually doing a wood grain tumbler with us? Or is everybody just watching?
We did over the weekend a lot of Zoom classes. So, you know, we all were doing the woodgrains together. It was a lot of fun. And then, you know, if people ran into problems, we could help right away. So if there is some techniques, which one you want to learn, we do a live in the group, and we will also do Zoom classes for you guys. Tanya knows that's not a smoke alarm, that's our security system. And we are actually closed right now, and it's a security system, so our security system beeps. We got so used to it that we don't hear it anymore.
I literally don't even think about it, which probably isn't a good thing. So I'm working on my third little V. I want it to be a little bit what?
Brandy thought she apparently has a beeping smoke detector, and when she heard the beeping sound, she thought it was her upstairs hallway.
Oh, did she actually go check?
No, we just, I think, explained it. Hi, Brandy. I hope you feel better today.
So I'm just doing the exact same steps over and over, just creating more of those V's. That's how I called it in the little Zoom classes. I called them V's.
We call them V's, but they should look like 3 rings.
Yeah, it looks like the rings, kind of.
Couple ladies thought it was their smoke detector and sent their husbands to check the batteries on the smoke detector.
All right, so now that I have 3 across my tumbler, do you see these empty spaces where I have nothing? I'm going to do the exact same technique, but I'm going to go from the bottom of the cup to the top instead and create inverted triangles. I need more ink.
So you go in exactly the opposite direction.
Yep, so instead of going top to down, I'm going to go down up. I'm going to let it sit and evaporate for a second. If I think I used too much, drag it down a little bit. And then brush it until it's completely cured, or not cured, but dry. And if you don't like something, the way something looks, like I said before, you can just go over it. Which is kind of not really a good thing sometimes, because a wood grain can take either 5 minutes or an hour. If you just keep going over and over and over, if you don't like how something looks.
Tammy, I think that's brick brown, yeah?
This is number, I think, 94 brick brown. Let me find the lid. Yes, 94. I don't know if y'all can see that. 94 brick brown.
Yeah.
Yep, and this is the color I like to use for my kind of mid to dark browns when I do a wood grain.
It's so quiet, Ashley.
I know, it's so much quieter than the Zoom classes.
Yeah, it's like when Zoom classes, there is talking, you know, everybody, or we talk, or it's easier in lives. It's kind of, you know, when you concentrate, it's so hard to kind of keep a conversation going, you know, it's like, it's a lot harder to be in front of the camera doing a live video on Facebook than to do a Zoom class.
All right, last V.
Or tree ring.
Or a tree ring, I guess.
How many people or who never worked with alcohol inks before?
And now I'm just going to do a little V on the bottom of the cup.
Tanya, you never have? It's fun. It's fun, and you can do so much fun stuff with alcohol inks.
I like it because it's a fast, easy way to make a tumbler. And in tumbler making, especially if you're a seller, those are amazing. So there, I just did the bottom. I just do a few little strokes. Just give a few little V's. And there's my finished tumbler.
Technique number 1.
Yep, this is technique number 1. So usually, if I'm not teaching, I can do one of these. I mean, how long have we been live? Not that long?
I don't know.
Literally, I can do one in like 3 to 5 minutes. Like, it's super, super fast. The problem is if you sit there and you go, oh, I don't like that spot, and then you go over, and then over, and then over, and then turn it, and, oh, I don't like that spot either, and you go over it, and over it, and over it, and eventually it can turn into a 1-hour tumbler, but typically they're pretty fast, and pretty easy in my opinion. And that's our wood grain. First wood grain.
Technique number 1. Oh, now we can switch over.
Yep, and now I have ink all over my wrists. Yes, they're definitely awesome man cups. Women typically like glitter and the pretty and glitzy stuff.
Or the colored wood grains.
But I think these are really good for men's cups because a lot of people, they have trouble thinking of things to do for men. Cups to do for men because you can't, I mean, you can use glitter if you want, but typically men stray away from glitter, and I think wood grains are a really easy cup to do for men. I mean, women too, if you want to do one for a woman, you know.
Now we go to technique number 2. That's my preferred technique. So what you will need is, for my preferred technique, I will need a cup, and I need some isopropyl alcohol in it. And your isopropyl alcohol should have at least 91% or higher. You can get them at Walmart. We got that bottle 2 days ago in Walmart. It used to be really hard to get, but it's getting better again. So I just fill a little bit of isopropyl alcohol in my cup. You will need paper towels.
You'll probably have an easier time if you hold
And the same bristle brush. So I prepped already because I wanted to have a darker look on it, a more vibrant look. If you want to have pastel, you go directly over white. If you want to have a more vibrant look, all what you did is what Ashley did, is you apply just a coat very fast of alcohol ink with a brush, let it dry, and then I put 2 coats of sealer over it. Let that dry, and hopefully my sealer is dry enough, because I just did it before the live. But so after that, I need.
Someone asked a question.
Okay, what's the question?
Do you ever use 2 different inks?
Yes, we did 2 different inks and 3 different inks. The only thing what I watch out when I do different colors of ink that say complement each other. I would, you know, I would go with a blue and a green, because I know if they mix together, it's still a nice color. I will have a teal. I would not go with a green and red, because if they mix together, that will give a yucky poo brown something. It would be not the look what I'm going for. So when I mix colors, I be careful that the colors which one, or if I have more colors on one tumbler, I make sure that the colors go mix nice together and give a nice color to it.
Carrie, we recommend the Mod Podge spray sealer. You can get it in the craft section of Walmart or Hobby Lobby.
It's our preferred sealer for pretty much everything. That's what we seal it. So all what I do after I did my first step and I sealed it again, now I just go one more time and do exactly the same step what Ashley did.
Well, maybe I shouldn't put my foot there with the white shoe.
And I will apply a thin layer of ink again. Oh, I just do a little bit on the bottom. After I have my thin layer, and I really put a thin layer of ink on it, I take my brush and I dip it in the isopropyl alcohol. I dip it in, and now I take 99% of that alcohol off. I want to work with a really, 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 really dry brush. So you dip it in, and all what you do is really taking the majority of the ink off, of the alcohol off again. Now I lay my brush on top of the tumbler, and I kind of lay it flat, and then I start to feather it. I think I did a little bit. Oh yeah. And when I feather, you can start to see that kind of a line starts to appear. It was a little bit too dry. I think you can see it better now. Can you see that it's kind of hard with the things that
You need to stand up, I think.
I see it now, so I can see it. I see it now.
I mean, I see it, but it's very, very light. If you...
It's right here. So that when I lay it on it and I start to feather it.
Now they can't see.
Is that better?
Better.
That a line, and to the dark line, it's almost like an ombre appearing. And I go all the way up with it. But I want to have that dark line, and that gives me, that is the first outer line of, I can barely see, I think it's sitting down is better. That's my first outer line of my tree ring of one side. Now I go on the other side and go up like two, that I create a V as well. So I take my tumbler, I dip it in. I take the alcohol off. Now I start to feather. If I see it's too wet, I just let it evaporate. Wipe a little bit more off. And you see how flat I hold my brush. And I start to feather. When I start to see that line appears. Can you see it, how I feather it and how the line appears? And then I just push it upwards.
Brandy says she does a version of this for ink paintings, but she never thought to use it on cups.
So now my V does not end on the top. I go a little bit wider, so I have here ring. Now my next step is that I put my inner rings in it. So I take it off. I start to feather it until I see that one line appearing. When I see a line appearing, now I start to push it upwards. And I do that feathering motion. I don't go quite as high up. Now I go to the other side. I do the feathering until I see a line forming. When I see the line forming, I push it upwards. And when I go up here, I just brush up in one direction to form a peak. Can you see how I formed the peak and how I did my... Now I go to my third ring. I kind of like the lines going here closer on the bottom and further apart on the top. That is just my personal preference, what I like, how my wood grain looks. So I do feather again. You kind of go from the middle. Now I push it a little bit closer to the bottom, to the first, to my previous line. Now I have my line appearing. I go upwards with it. It's a little bit wet, so I take a little bit off. And I do not want to have my rings perfect. No tree is perfect. So I do here the same thing. I go up here and then I start to brush it upwards. Now I do my next ring, and you can really put as many rings in it as you want. That's your personal preference.
Laura asked if this is how you create the baseball bat look.
I did that technique. You can mix and match or mix techniques, and I think the baseball bat, I use technique number 1 and technique number 2. So you know, you don't have to make just a tumbler with one technique. You can really do both to give it a real interesting, or even all 3 techniques to give it a real interesting look, that it really starts to look like wood grain. You see that I have now 3, that I start to build my 3 rings, and I place them wherever I want to decide that the rings go.
I think any of these 3 or any of these 3 methods would give you a baseball bat look.
Yeah. Do you see how I feather it? How these lines start to appear, and when it starts to appear, I push it where I want to have it. Now we go on the other side. I feather until the line appears, push it upwards, and in the middle I kind of just brush it up. I think I have space for one more, and I do just with the alcohol. I get the rest off. Very dry. Do not have your brush too wet. And this time I do what Ashley did. I just put my last one, and I just push it with almost a dry brush. I create my lines like that, my last 3 ring. And I do it this time. I hold the brush a little bit higher up. So I have here now a very controlled, and I created my 3 rings. So my next one, you know, to fill a tumbler, I made this time the V up. So I can choose if I make a couple ones, make it more straight. I normally kind of go up and down, just like Ashley. So I have here one. Now this time the peak would be here. Or on the other side I would be here. So I go here. I have already this line. I just need to start to feather on that side. I used that tumbler before for other tutorials. So a little bit green was still showing through because I had one in green. So I just create a V. And I go up. And I said it does not need to be perfect because no tree is perfect. It actually gives it a charm if you don't have it. So I have kind of a V, so I start to put the lines inside the tree rings. Ashley was just asking me if we should put the alcohol inks on sale. Now I let you guys decide, should we put our alcohol inks on sale for until midnight? Should we do it? You guys have to answer me. So I make if I see that my brush was too wet, I do what Ashley does. I just wait a little bit. I just wait until it starts to evaporate. And then I try it again because I don't want to have it running. So it's a little bit better now. It's still a little bit on the wet side. I feather until I see the line forming. You see how the line forms?
The brown that we used is Brick Brown, number 94.
So I have my second line here. Now I go from the other side to create a line. And I do the feathering motion. And up here, I just go in one direction. I want to see here a little bit peak, a little bit different, so I just go and play around with it. It's very forgiving. Now I do my next line. It goes, you know, when you don't do a tutorial, it goes actually pretty fast. And if you see what you don't like, you can always go over it. Now I make my next one. And I would continue to do that until I finish my whole tumbler. And don't forget to feather. So I have here and here. And you would just continue to do that all around. Ashley, you want to show some technique number 3? You know, I can sit here and can play around, but I think you get the idea. If you have any problems with it, if you're at home and you think, oh, I tried, and then you try it out and it doesn't work, we do Zooms. And some Zooms are tutorials, and some Zoom meetings are just when we craft around and when we have problems that we can ask the group, and then we can go over things again. And so you might want to check out for a regular Zoom get-together. And some Zooms are tutorials. And some Zooms are tutorials and afterwards are get-togethers. So Ashley will show you now a third technique, how to do alcohol inks. And you will see that each person will have a preferred method. Ashley has a preferred method. I have my preferred method. Some people, when we did the Zoom and everybody, we went through all techniques, it was really mixed. We asked, you know, what is your preferred method? And I would say the majority said that technique number 1 was the easiest for them. But, you know, we had some people which one said technique number 2 or technique number 3 was the easiest for them or what they liked the most. So each person is different, and each person likes different techniques or what works for them best. That's why we offer you right now 3 techniques, and then you can, you know, after you try them out, you will see what is your favorite technique to do a wood grain. So Ashley, back to you.
All right.
And that's why we have a trash bag under our alcohol inks. I think you have to do brown because we have to clean it. So
Yeah, we'll do walnut.
the good thing about alcohol ink is, let's say you know the tumbler which one Ashley just made and you don't like it. You completely don't like it.
Not with blue.
I just take it off.
Not with blue.
Okay, she does not want me. I'm
You
actually...
can use this one.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit more isopropyl alcohol. Can you open it? So you completely don't like it, or you don't wanna prime too many cups to practice. You can practice all on 1 cup. Every time when you're done, you just wipe your alcohol ink off with isopropyl alcohol. So you don't need 10 tumblers to practice. You can practice it on 1 tumbler and just keep going. Actually, I need more alcohol. Yeah, I'm just cleaning it. And you don't even have to, for wood grain, you don't even have to be perfect with cleaning. You know, so alcohol ink will stain your white spray paint a little bit, but that's fine. We're going with brown over it anyway.
All right, someone asked, what do you recommend for a lighter baseball bat color? So you can dilute the darker inks to make them into lighter inks if you want. So for example, you could get brick brown and then dilute it to make this light color, for example. This is a lighter color of the brick brown because you can see it stained the white. I recommend also probably teak is a lighter brown color.
You could go technique number 2 on a white base with, if you go directly over white with it, would give you that color because you wipe it. It would be kind of lighter. We have latte as well, don't we? Or is latte out of stock now? Okay. Okay, I think that's good enough that Ashley can show you technique number 3. For technique number 3, we have a piece of Scrub Daddy. The soft side, we already used it. I hope it's brown, that we used it on brown.
A lot of people don't know what Scrub Daddy is.
A Scrub Daddy is kind of a kitchen sponge, where one side is soft and the other side is kind of the scrubby side. We use soft side. So it's like your dish, which one you do your dishes with. The only thing, it's kind of in a smiley face.
Yeah, it's a round sponge with a smiley face cut inside of it.
But I'm pretty sure if you just have a regular kitchen sponge, it should work too. It will work with alcohol, not alcohol, with a makeup sponge as well. But when we did our tutorials and we had a makeup sponge, like one of these makeup matches, and then we compared it with
Scrub
Daddy or kitchen sponge, we actually liked the kitchen sponge better than the makeup wedge. So, but that was our personal preference. I think most of the people liked it. So, but either one will work.
Yep, they do sell them on Amazon. You can get them at Walmart as well.
You get them at Walmart, Home Depot, Dollar General, Family Dollar. They're everywhere.
I know they have them at Bed Bath & Beyond too.
Bed Bath & Beyond, I'm pretty sure everywhere where you're getting any kind of cleaning supplies and kitchen sponges, you will get a Scrub Daddy. And how I said, you know, if you just want to get a regular kitchen sponge, I'm sure it will work too. if you are not, if that brush is too big for you, for technique number 2, we tried it when we did our zooms. I just went in my makeup kit and I took an eyeshadow brush. I used the eyeshadow brush. It worked with the eyeshadow brush as well. It was just a almost too perfect look for my taste. It almost looked too painted and not as rough like how wood grain is, but it works. You know, if that is too big for you and you think, I cannot work with that, just go through your house, find different brushes, try technique number 2 out with different brushes. That's just my preferred brush.
All right. So the last method, can you please scoot over?
Yes.
All right. The last method that we're going to do, like I said, is using the Sponge Daddy. So all I did is I take my Sponge Daddy, flip it over to the soft side, don't do the hard side, and then just squirt your ink directly onto the sponge. And now this method is going to be very, very similar to the first cup that we did, the first method that we showed you, and the fact that we're going to be making those large V's. And now I can paint it on a little bit easier. And if you think, again, you have too much ink, just dab it onto a paper towel. By the way, this is the color Walnut. So I'm just dabbing it on, and you want to, like I said before with the other technique, you want to keep brushing until it completely dries. Alright, then what I do is I'm going to go on the inside and create another V. So I need a little bit more ink. Squirt it on there. And a lot of people were telling me that they really liked this method when we were teaching the Zoom classes because they said they had a lot of control over where the ink was going, which I definitely agree. You have a lot more control over the brush.
Over the sponge?
No, over the brush.
Oh, over the brush.
So now I have my second little V, and I'm just going directly on top and creating my third V. You guys see that? And I'm just going more and more until I like the way that it looks. So you guys can see now I have all those ripples. I'm going to turn my brush over.
Rings.
Ripples, tree rings, whatever you want to call them. And just do it all over again. I flipped my tumbler to a different side, and I'm going to do another V. I try to keep one side of my brush dry and the other side wet, so I can add product here, and then when I want to dry it, I just flip my brush and dry it with the other side. Now I want wet. What?
So Amy is buying walnut as well. She likes the color as well.
It's definitely a pretty color, especially for wood grains.
Oh, the color which one I used was baby blue.
I really like this technique. I feel like it goes so fast compared to the other techniques. I'm going to flip it and then do it again. I mean, I can create a tumbler with this technique in just
Instead
a few
of
minutes.
5 minutes, 2 minutes.
Literally, the first time I ever tried it, like, I feel like it's so easy to learn this method over the other ones, because, like, I just tried it for the first time on our Zoom meeting, our first Zoom meeting. We were just talking about different alternatives that we could use. We were just messing around, and we used to do this with the makeup sponges, and somebody didn't have makeup sponges, so we tried kitchen sponges. We didn't have a regular kitchen sponge. We just had the Scrub Daddy. So we tried it with the Scrub Daddy, and it was so easy. I feel like there's really basically no learning curve to it. I mean, there is a little bit if you've never done it before, but for me, who's so used to doing wood grains, it was very, very easy. All right, so like I did before, you can see I have those triangles. Now I want to flip and do it the other way and do an inverted triangle in those empty spaces. You see that? And just keep going. and fill those empty spaces.
Show them one more time.
I am. Right now I'm just smoothing it out.
And that is the soft side of the Scrub Daddy.
Yep, this is the soft side. And just keep brushing it until it's dry. You can feel it's dry. Then go over it again with the wet side of your sponge. Flip it to the dry. And basically just do that same movement over and over until you like the way that your tumbler looks.
Does anybody has any questions so far?
I'm going to flip it and do the exact same thing on this side.
Oh, nobody said anything if we should put the inks on sale.
Yes, a few people, actually, nobody said no, everybody said yes. No, don't put them on sale. I don't want to save money.
Ashley, can you hold your tumbler a little bit further down?
I did, I switched.
Melissa said is a Scrub Daddy, and it's a soft side of a Scrub Daddy. I'm very certain that a regular kitchen sponge will work too, but that specific one is a Scrub Daddy. And you will find Scrub Daddies at Walmart. Anywhere where you find a kitchen sponge, you will find a Scrub Daddy. It's they look like kitchen sponges with but they're in a smiley face shape.
So, there you go. I'm going to flip it, do my last inverted triangle, and then the bottom of the cup. And if you have any rogue pieces of foam, just brush them away. We've been using this particular piece of sponge for all of our tutorials, so it's a little bit worn out. And when I say this particular sponge, I mean like literally this super tiny piece of sponge.
Yeah, and I think we had always a weekend 6 classes. So yeah, we used it a lot.
And you can put like quite a bit of these pieces out of a Scrub Daddy too.
And it really does not matter what color alcohol ink you use. If you use these techniques, it will always look like a real wood grain. So Ashley just chose it right now in brown, but you know I showed it on blue. I posted the picture of the pink. The pink was done with technique number 2.
All right, and I just covered the entire tumbler, and that's this tumbler done. I mean, that really didn't take long. And usually if I'm not showing y'all, if I'm just doing it myself, it takes like no time. There you go.
Does anybody has any questions right now?
I wish I could show all 3 of them next to each other, but we covered this one up. But I can show you these 2 next to each other. These 2 techniques. Similar, but different. All right, any questions? Let's put it back onto us. I probably shouldn't be touching my phone with super grimy, alcohol inky hands.
I don't think that anybody has questions, but you know there's a delay in
So
it.
I did just 1 color on each tumbler, just because I wanted to keep the tutorial a little bit short. If you want to mix and match colors and do multiple colors, go right ahead. We just say if you're going to do multiple colors, try and keep colors that are complementary to each other next to each other. So like blue and green or blue and purple, like things like that. Otherwise, they might mesh together and create kind of a brown color where they meet, and you probably don't want that. All right. I think we already answered that question. What is that sponge we're using? We're using a Scrub Daddy. It's just, we literally just cut it into pieces.
I think that was down part of the mouse.
Probably, oh yeah, I think that was part of the mouth.
That was down part of the mouse. The Scrub Daddies look like smiley faces.
I don't see any questions, so I think we're just gonna...
Yeah, we just...
Oh, the ink sale. What do you say? 15, 20%? 20%.
20%.
We'll put the inks on for 20% off.
Only until midnight, and we are not telling, we will not make an announcement in the group. Only people which one are on the live will know it. Ashley will write it down, a code right now.
Yeah, I'm writing a code right now.
And
stay
it's
on.
only good until midnight today. Today is the 6th of January.
I would say ink sale 2021.
Yeah, today is the 6th of January until midnight. We will have it, and we are not announcing set sale on. It's only for people who watched the tutorial.
Yeah, so if you watch the tutorial, you're getting a special discount. Because I'm not going to make a post.
So you have to put that code all in capital letters.
It's backwards because we're in this mode. But imagine it said it frontwards. It's ink sale 2021. And I have to put it in the system, so if you try to do it like right this second, it's not gonna work. But in just a few seconds, like in like right when I hit finish, I'm gonna go run to the computer and do it real quick, and then it should work.
And it's only for you guys.
Yeah, 20% off ink sale 2021. INKSALE 2021. All right, that is the sale. 20% off our fairy inks, including the ones that we showed you today. We showed you walnut, brick brown, and baby blue. Those were the colors we used. The walnut and the brick brown were the two brown colors, and then obviously the blue was baby blue. All right. I think that's it. Everyone's just saying thank you. You're welcome, guys. We love to make these tutorials for you guys. So, bye. See you later. Finish.